I'm so high, I can't lie, mesmerized by you. I'm so high,